All right, bro. All right, bro. Ok, yeah, yeah. Este es Form A. Vamos a hacer Form A, right? Ya chequeamos las luces, pero dejamos la intermitente y la luz prendida y vamos afuera. Lo voy a correr all the way through. Form A. Clearance lights, marker lights, hazard lights, and headlights are properly mounted and secured. They're not cracked, loose, missing. They're all the proper color and working. The windshield and windshield wipers are secured, not cracked, not damaged. The registration, the emission inspection, and the heavy vehicle inspection are up to date and in place. Hood, grill, bumper, license plate are all properly mounted and secured. The license plate is clearly visible and it matches my registration. There's nothing hanging or leaking underneath. The truck is not leaning left or right. Engine compartment. Ahí va. Trabajando, trabajando. I'll start on the passenger side. In general, I don't see any hanging or leaking hoses. My coolant reservoir, it's properly mounted and secured. No missing nuts and bolts. It has no cracks or leaks. The cap and the hoses are secured, not leaking, and the level is normal. AC compressor, it's properly mounted and secured. It's not missing any nuts or bolts. It has no cracks or leaks. It's belt driven. The belt is secured, not cracked or frayed. Belt has no more than 3/4 inch play. The alternator, it's properly mounted and secured. It's not missing any nuts and bolts. It has no cracks or damage. It has no loose wires. It's also belt driven. The belt, it's secured, not cracked or frayed. It has no more than 3/4 inch play. The water pump is not visible, but it's on the same belt as the alternator. The water pump, it's properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked or leaking. I'm going to continue on the other side. In general, I don't see any hanging or leaking hoses. My oil dipstick is secured. To check the oil level, I would have to take it out, clean it off, reinsert it, take it out again, and then check the level. The level should be normal. Air compressor. It's properly mounted and secured. No missing nuts and bolts. No cracks, no leaks. It's gear driven. Power steering pump. Power steering pump. It's properly mounted and secured. No missing nuts and bolts. No cracks or leaks. Also gear driven. Power steering reservoir. It's properly mounted and secured. No missing nuts and bolts. It's not cracked or leaking. The cap and the hoses are secured, not leaking, and the level is normal. Steering shaft. It's secured. It's not cracked, not damaged, not bent. Has no more than 10 degrees of play. Steering gearbox. It's properly mounted and secured. It's no missing any nuts and bolts. It's got no cracks or leaks. It's also gear driven. Steering linkages. The pitman arm, drag link, and the upper control arm are properly mounted and secured with castle nuts and cotter pins. Not cracked, loose, or missing. The frame, it's secured. It's not cracked, not damaged, no illegal welds. Shock absorber, it's properly mounted and secured on top and bottom. No cracks, no leaks. Leaf springs, spring mounts, and U-bolts are properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked, loose, or missing. Brake hose and the brake chamber are properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked or leaking. Push rod and slack adjuster are properly mounted and secured. The push rod, it's not cracked or bent. Slack adjuster has no more than 1 inch in play with the brakes released. Brake drum and brake lining are properly mounted and secured. There's no oil or grease present, and the lining is at least 1/4 inch thick. Inner rim, outer rim, no cracks, no dents, no illegal welds, flush to the tire. Inner tire wall, outer tire wall, no cuts, no bubbles, they're in good condition. Tire tread, at least 4 32-inch deep. These tires cannot be recapped. These tires this tire is properly inflated up to the manufacturer's specifications of about 100 to 125 psi. I would need a tire pressure gauge to check that. Lug nuts are properly mounted, secured. It's not cracked, loose, missing, or rusted through. Hub seal, it's properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked or leaking. And the air valve, it's secured. It's not cracked or leaking, and it has a cap. Splash guard, it's properly mounted and secured. It's not touching the tire, not touching the ground. My red emergency line and the blue service line are properly mounted, secured. It's not cracked, not leaking. Secured to the fittings on the tractor and the glad hands on the trailer. My electrical supply line, it's secured. It's not cracked or damaged. Secured to the tractor, secured to the trailer. Apron of the trailer, it's secured, not cracked, not damaged, no illegal welds. Hitch release arm, it's secured, it's not cracked, not damaged, it's in the inside locked position. Fifth wheel, it's properly mounted and secured. There's no space in between the apron and the skid plate, and it's properly lubricated. The locking jaws are properly locked around the shank of the kingpin. The skid plate is properly mounted to the platform, and the platform is properly mounted to the frame with no missing mounting bolts. That completes Form A. Oh, yeah.